What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another reaction video. We got the 2024 QB draft class. It's historic. Let's check this out.
Every NFL season, we are introduced to some new quarterbacks from the recent NFL draft.
Facts.
So in today's video, I want to talk about the 2024 NFL quarterback draft class and why they are already looking to become pretty historic.
I ain't gonna lie.
Like the video if you do.
Hey, I think they gonna be the 2024 draft class is going to be the best draft class of all time when it comes to quarterbacks, bro. Because all of them looked great last year. Besides, we didn't see JJ McCarthy. We'll get to see him play this year, but Caleb Williams played good. Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels both made it to the playoffs. JD, obviously made it to the NFC Championship game. Drake he showed flashes when he did get to play. Michael Penix as well. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, with the right pieces, the right coaching, you know what I'm saying? I feel like all of those guys, they gonna make some noise, bro. And potentially, I feel like Jaden Daniels, he definitely working his way up to that top 5 quarterback standards. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, the rest of them going to be in the top 10, conversation for the next few years. But, hey, bro, it's going to be very interesting, bro. Real shit.
So we are going to be going at this one by one, beginning with the first overall pick and ending off with Spencer Rattler. As we all know, the first overall pick was Caleb Williams. He was hyped up to become a potential generational quarterback.
He didn't play bad, though.
And
just the offensive line was horrible.
It hasn't been perfect, but I would say he had a fine rookie season.
He did have some,
in his rookie season, he had a completion percentage of 62.5%, 3,500.
Yeah, so look at these stats, though. 3,500 yards, 20 touchdowns to 6 picks. Like, come on, bro. These are solid rookie stats. You know what I'm saying? 62.5 completion percentage. Now, it doesn't show his QBR. Like, the QBR show everything, but this nigga got sacked damn near 70 times. So
41 passing yards, 20 touchdowns, and 6 picks. He also ran the ball for just under 500 yards as well. Now, when talking about Caleb Williams, there's two things we have to talk about. Number one, the type of generational talent that he was coming out of college. And number two, the Chicago Bears season last year. So we'll begin by talking about his time at USC in Oklahoma. When he immediately stepped on the field for Oklahoma, it was pretty clear and obvious that Caleb Williams was just simply put a special generational talent. His ability to improvise big plays, his cannon of an arm, his overall general accuracy was all incredible at Oklahoma, and then he transferred to USC and he just continued it on over there. Despite playing for a USC team that frankly was not as talented as what you would think for being one of those top tier programs, he still made the best of the situation. And no, it's not to say that USC is void of talent. They have plenty of talent. It's just they're not as talented as like a Bama or Georgia or one of those type of schools. Regardless of that, though, it was seen that Caleb Williams was very clearly put the #1 quarterback of this draft class just based off pure talent,
I had
potential,
Daniels
and
number
what the
one,
thought
bro,
process
from the
of
very
what he
jump.
could become
If
at the
you
NFL.
go back and look at my old vids, bro, I've been on the Jaden Daniels hype train.
The NFL is slowly becoming a more improvisational game where you're going to see a lot of teams
Same
look
goes for
for
Bo
those
Nix,
big
too.
hidden arm quarterbacks that can make big splashy plays out of the system while also working very well within the system. You look at Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, even at times Joe Burrow. Those are guys who can thrive within the system of their offense, but they can also make big splashy plays outside of the pocket and outside of what the system wants you to do. Caleb Williams was thought of somebody who could be that guy, which then brings me to the Chicago Bears. Last year, the Chicago Bears had a lot of talent, but they were fundamentally flawed on the offensive line. The offensive line last year was not good at all. It was constant pressure on Caleb Williams, a ton of sacks, some Caleb's fault and some not his fault. For a young quarterback that needed a little bit of some time to develop, it was kind of a tough situation for him to step in there and have to play behind such a putrid offensive line. Again, constantly under pressure. I felt like it kind of maybe hurt his confidence at certain points, but I thought despite that, as the season progressed, he got better and better and better. It's not to say that he was good, nor did the better performances from Caleb lead to any sort of success win-wise, but I did feel like as the year went on, Caleb got a bit more confident. He started playing better within the system. He wasn't making those boneheaded plays that he was early on in the season. So just in general, I thought it was a fine rookie season from Caleb Williams. Definitely not the most impressive of the quarterbacks we'll talk about in this video, but definitely something to build off of. As of right now, I easily think Caleb Williams will end up being an awesome quarterback prospect. He has all the talent in the world, and now the Chicago Bears have a special offensive-minded head coach.
4,000 yards
this year. A really solid offensive
he should with Ben Johnson and all them damn weapons.
Let's not talk about the second overall pick in Jaden Daniels. Now, Daniels kind of had a bit of a roller coaster college career, starting off with Arizona State.
Commanders fans, bro.
COVID stuff.
We gotta talk. Y'all niggas, hey. y'all need to be humbled. I'm gonna keep it a buck. You know what I'm saying? I fuck with y'all. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Me being from Virginia and shit like that, and y'all being, you know what I'm saying, Maryland, DC, and all that. But y'all need to be humbled. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I understand y'all haven't, you know what I'm saying, y'all aren't accustomed to winning after all those years of losing and shit. But please stay humble, bro, because y'all been talking crazy now that y'all got a quarterback, bro. Talking about JD's already better than Lamar. Stop it, bro. Stop it. Let's stop it right there, game. Nigga make it to one NFC championship and get blown out 55-23. Niggas want to start calling him better than Lamar. And didn't Lamar beat him last year too? Like, come on, bro. We gotta stop that. I fuck with JD.
With LSU,
He's not on
really
Lamar's
when
level
he broke
yet.
out, specifically when
Let's
he won
keep
the
it a buck. Come
Heisman,
on.
and I believe he was last year in college. But he broke out on the scene, and funnily enough, even
But
after
he had a
that
phenomenal
Heisman
season.
campaign,
I was not
initially,
expecting
he wasn't
JD to,
seen
you know,
as the second
take him
best
to the
quarterback
NFC
prospect
Championship
of the
game.
draft. It wasn't until scouts and teams actually got to meet with Jaden to actually learn who he is and just kind of get more information about him that he started to fly up draft boards until at some point he was the consensus second or third overall pick. And for the Washington Commanders, they selected Jaden Daniels with the second overall pick after he had an awesome year for LSU, and it definitely worked out. On the year, Jaden Daniels had a completion percentage of 69%, 3,568 passing yards, 25 touchdowns to 9 picks. And running the football, he had 148 carries for 891 yards and 6 additional rushing touchdowns. He would go on to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. He was just one of those quarterbacks that was so special from the get-go. He didn't really have a slow rise or anything like that, kind of like Caleb Williams did, where Caleb really struggled early on, and then as the year went on, he started to play better and better. For Jaden, it was like right from the get-go. Like, he played really solid in his first game, and then was very consistent throughout the season. There wasn't a lot of ups and downs. He was very smooth for the majority of his rookie season, and obviously he led a Commanders team that nobody thought was even going to make the playoffs. He led them all the way to the NFC Championship game. And again, I want to reiterate, this was a Commanders team the year prior that had the second overall pick, and even though they brought in a new head coach and a number of new pieces, they were still seen as a team that was very far and away from getting to where they want to go. But Jaden stepped in there instantly, elevated the floor of the roster, got this team to win 2 playoff games, and even though they got smoked by the Eagles,
they had a good draft,
the fact
though,
they were
bro.
even
They
at
got a
that
lot of
point was
guys
very
that
impressive.
can be
And I think the
starters
crazy
right
thing about
away.
it was Jaden in
know what
that
I'm
second
saying?
playoff game against the Lions, like, he simply outplayed a veteran Jared Goff in almost every facet. Like, he was so much better in that game, and he was so on point, and he looked so calm playing in Detroit. And yes, Detroit was filled with injuries. I don't want to, deny that, but still, Jaden looked like an absolute special quarterback. And as we sit here today, even after just one rookie season, there are a lot of people, probably including myself, that already have Jaden Daniels in the MVP conversations next year and already have Jaden Daniels as a solid top 10 quarterback in the league. And this is
He's
only
definitely my
after
top
one
10 for
season.
sure.
Now,
Like,
I do expect his
I
sophomore
think
season to
as like my list goes, I already gave my top 5, you know what I'm saying, already, which was Lamar, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, you know what I'm saying, Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts, you know what I'm saying. That's my top 5. But I ain't gonna lie, I'll probably put JD. I think I'm gonna keep it a buck. As much as I hate to say this, he might already be. Nah, I can't say he's already better than Dak after 1 year, bro. Even though Dak hasn't made it to an NFC Championship game, but on my list, he's probably already 6 or 7. If I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all,
maybe come back down to earth a
But
smidge, but at the
he
same
he
time, I wouldn't be
definitely
surprised
has
if it
played
was the
phenomenal
opposite
so
and he
far.
consistently
I just
gets
hope he
better.
don't have a
I do
sophomore
think Jaden
slump.
Daniels will be an awesome quarterback for the Commanders. He fits the team perfectly. The team around him is getting better.
You know,
the head coach
a lot
is
of
awesome
players
there,
go
and
through that.
Yeah, this is just a great spot for
But
Jaden
some
Daniels,
don't.
and I'm
So
happy to
he
see
might be
his
one of
success.
those.
Next
that
up with the
don't.
3rd overall pick, we're talking about Drake Bates, the New England Patriots. Now, this was a very interesting rookie season because unlike Caleb and Jaden Daniels, Drake May actually started off on the bench. Now, coming out of college for UNC, Drake
I mean,
May
he
was the
did, and
consensus.
I think that was warranted too because of the fact that Drake May didn't have as many starts. You know what I'm saying at UNC as Caleb Williams had, and Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix, Bo Nix, and them guys. So I feel like that was warranted. Him sitting on the bench, let him learn behind a veteran for a little bit, and then take over mid-season. You know what I'm saying? Because throwing a rookie into the fire when they don't have that many reps under their belt can be catastrophic for the rest of their career. Like what has been happening with AR. You know what I'm saying? So I think them sitting him out early, you know what I'm saying, on the bench to learn behind Jacoby Brissett I might help him out in the long run.
second or
Not gonna
third
lie.
best quarterback as the process went on.
I
Initially,
feel like I
he
be
was seen probably
yapping
as a
too much. I'm
second
gonna keep it a
prospect,
buck,
and then
but
as I mentioned with
when it come
Jaden,
to
how
football,
the
bro,
interviews
I
and how
don't give
that
a
process
fuck.
kind of
I'ma
went,
speak
Jaden
what's
kind
on
of
my
fell
chest
on
and keep
top of
it
him, and then
100
Drake
on
kind
it.
of fell below him, which was fine. He ended up in the third overall pick,
Reaction
and
video
frankly, I
for a
think he fell
reason,
into a
man.
perfect
Real shit.
situation. When Drake did come out of college, there was a lot of flaws to his game, but he was kind of seen in a similar light to Caleb Williams. The style of quarterback that can work within the system, but also can make those out of structure plays that elevate his
We
game
can
from
make
potentially
an
being a solid
argument that
quarterback
Drake
to
made
one of the
better
best
than Caleb
quarterbacks out there.
Williams.
And I would say in the
Just
small
saying.
sample size, he only played 13 games, by the way, but in that sample size that we did see him in, I thought we saw the good and the bad of Drake May. Now, let me also say, similar to Caleb Williams,
Turnovers,
this Patriots
though.
team was
Gotta
not
work
ready
on
for
that.
a rookie quarterback. They did not have any really solid receiving options. They also didn't have a consistent ground game, and the offensive line was also very weak last year for the New England Patriots. So this was a team that Drake May had to take over, and it was fundamentally flawed on the offense in almost every single positional room. Not to mention their head coach also got fired at the end of the season, so clearly there was something there as well.
Who
So
the
even
fuck
though
was
it was
their
a
head
really
coach?
bad
Oh,
situation for a
Gerard
young
Mayo.
quarterback to enter into, he was able to kind of make the most of the situation, and I thought he played pretty darn well. In 13
My nigga
games, he had a
Mike Vrabel
completion
taking over
percentage
now.
of 66.6, 2,276 passing yards, 15
It's not
touchdowns
this is not
to
totally
10
bad.
picks. He also
You know,
got
like
sacked
10 picks compared to like the receivers he had to throw to, bro. Like this ain't even that bad. You know what I'm saying?
34 times in those 13 games, which is not good. And he had 54 carries for 421 rushing
And
yards
bro,
and 2 additional
God
touchdowns.
damn, 34. This nigga got sacked 34 times. Shit.
Good. And he had
Nigga ain't even
54
play a
carries
full
for
season.
421 rushing yards and 2 additional touchdowns. Even though those numbers are not like mind-blowing, I do think it's a really good start to his young career. Again, I think it's very important that we say that coming into his rookie season, he was seen as sort of a developmental piece, somebody that needs time to grow and become the player that we think he can be. In some ways, I kind of thought of him,
He
and I don't
kinda
want to
reminds
compare
me
him to
of,
Josh Allen, but
Justin
in some ways,
Herbert.
I kind of
You
think
know what I'm
his
saying?
career will look similar to Josh Allen in terms of his first like 2, maybe 2.5 seasons into the NFL. May not be pretty, may not be perfect, but he's going to learn a lot and grow and develop. And each year he'll get better and better and better. And by the time he gets into his third year or his fourth year, or maybe even next year, like he will be the quarterback the Patriots drafted him to be. He's got so much talent, a cannon of an arm. He's a pretty solid athlete. He moves well in the pocket. He's a smart player. He does have
That
a
was a
tendency, though,
dime.
to make kind of boneheaded plays where it's like, what are you looking at? Why are you making that throw? But again, you kind
like
of
that-
want
like
him
that
to
game
make
against
those
the Titans
mistakes
you just
early
showed
on.
in
Now,
overtime.
similar to Caleb Williams, where
I don't know
the
what he
team
was
was not very
thinking. I'm
talented
not
in
gonna
terms of
lie.
certain positions last year, this year the Patriots also got significantly better. They brought in a veteran receiver in Stephon Diggs, who ironically enough also worked with Josh Allen and really
Drafted
helped
Kyle
him.
Williams.
Maybe he can do the same for Drake. They also had a really good draft where they selected a whole bunch of really key offensive pieces like a Travion Henderson, a Will Campbell, not to mention Kyle Williams. They shored up some of the pieces on the offensive line. I still think there needs to be work done next offseason, but it's at least better than what it was last year. And in general, there's a lot more
Yeah,
talent
they need a
surrounding
lot more
Drake May.
pieces if they want to, you know, contend in the AFC with, you know what I'm saying, teams in their division, especially, you know, Josh Allen, the Bills, the Dolphins, if they're healthy, you know what I'm saying? So they're in a tough division. I don't think they make the playoffs this year. I think at most, I think they're probably like a 6, maybe 7 win team. I think they missed the playoffs, but I think next offseason they get some more pieces on the offensive line. You know what I'm saying? On offense, you know what I'm saying? Like more weapons for Drake May. Maybe I feel like they do need more help in the secondary, maybe like a safety or something like that. But hey, they not too far away from being like playoff contenders, but I don't think they're gonna make it this
They
year.
also were fairly aggressive in adding pieces to the defense as well, so defensively they should be pretty good next year. I don't expect the Patriots to make the playoffs, but I do expect them to take
And
that
they got a
next
bunch
step
of old
forward, and
niggas on
that is
defense,
mainly
too.
because I expect Drake May
They
to
need
also
some more
take that
young
next step
niggas.
next year. He had a fine rookie season. He now has a bunch more talent around him. Also, a awesome head coach who made Ryan Tannehill look like a solid quarterback. So I expect Drake May to
D-line
step
should be
in there
good,
next
though.
year, feel comfortable, feel more confident, have the keys to the offense, and probably play a lot better next year. In terms of his outlook, kind of like Caleb Williams and kind of like Jaden Daniels, I could easily see a world where Drake May ends up becoming like a top 10 quarterback because he's ridiculously talented. Moving on to the 8th overall pick and what was the actual surprise of the draft, the Atlanta Falcons surprisingly took Michael Penix Jr. Now, coming out of Washington, Michael Penix Jr. had a incredible season for Washington. I mean, he got a
pretty ball,
his
bro.
game against my Texas Longhorns in the playoffs.
I got to put extra pause on that. But like the way the ball just jumps out of Michael Penix's hand,
I mean, he was just spectacular. His game against my Texas Longhorns
bro, that shit just so beautiful,
was so dominant.
Bro.
He made every single throw. He was honestly perfect in that game.
But
coming into the draft, there was a lot of question marks to his game. Number one, he was a 24 or 23-year-old prospect, so a little bit older than a Caleb or a Drake May. He was also a lefty quarterback, which also raised some concerns. There was also just general concerns with his game. There were some concerns with his injury history, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, but his accuracy, there was no question with that when you turn on the film.
Late to maybe mid first rounder to maybe even potentially an early second round pick. And at that point of the draft, before the draft ever happened, the Falcons were a team that picked up Kirk Cousins. So there was really nobody expecting it happened.
For him to get this Falcons up and over the corner, bro.
Picked up Kirk Cousins. So there was really nobody expecting them to take a quarterback that year after they just paid Kirk Cousins a massive 4-year deal. But then, out of nowhere, they took Michael Penix Jr., and I guess you could say the Falcons are probably right now, and they're probably happy they took him because Kirk Cousins did not look good at all last year, and Michael Penix Jr.
I mean, also, Kirk, you know what I'm saying? He was never going to be their franchise guy. So, I believe either way, you know what I'm saying, they were going to take Michael Penix for the future, you know what I'm saying? Especially because I still don't understand why they gave Kirk $40 million a year coming off a torn Achilles. But hey, at least they got Penix now. They might be moving on from Kirko.
He played, I thought, pretty well.
Paying $40 million to a backup
completion percentage, only at 58.1%, but 775 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and 3 picks. I also will say a lot of those picks were not really his fault. I just thought in general he looked pretty sharp out there. Again, it was a very small sample size, so it was really difficult to kind of say that he was a good player or a bad player. Like, he literally played like the backstretch of the games late in the season, and it was up against some pretty good competition, and he was really competitive with every team out there. It's hard to say right now if Penix is going to end up becoming the quarterback we think he can be. However, he's going to be the starting quarterback for the Falcons next year. I thought he showed some really good.
Him and Drake London, they already got a connection,
bro. Look at that Washington tape that he played for the Huskies.
We ain't even talked about Darnell.
I also thought if you just
I ain't gonna lie, I thought he was inconsistent with the Bears, but once he got to Atlanta, at times he looked like the #1 wide receiver, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. Because Kirko loved that nigga.
Look at that Washington
he loved throwing him the rock.
That he played for the Huskies and what he did those last 2 years
had a
there,
great
how
year last
good
year.
and dominant he was late into those seasons, and what he can translate from his game
so
then
he's definitely
to now.
Gonna be their true
I'm looking at quarterback
#2
Michael Penix and think he's legit. I think
they got a lot of wide
potential
receiver
to be an
threes after
awesome
that.
Quarterback. In that short sample size we did see him with the Falcons, he looked confident, he looked comfortable, he didn't look rattled or anything like that. He didn't play particularly special like a Jaden Daniels, but I thought he had some really good plays out there, some tight window throws, was playing with well timing and made some deep shots downfield.
Game, bro. I'm gonna go back to it every single
didn't
time.
Make a lot of mistakes, and again, very small sample size. I mean, it was literally like 3 games, so we can't take much from it, but from what I saw, I was fairly impressed, and I feel really comfortable moving forward that he could end up being the quarterback the Falcons need. This Falcons team is very talented, has a solid offensive line, some good defensive pieces, some good solid weapons around him. Now they just kind of need the quarterback to step up, and I think they have the guy in Michael Penix. Really quickly, we'll talk about J.J. McCarthy, who was selected with the 10th overall pick to the Minnesota Vikings. Now,
I got faith in
J.J.
It's
hard to talk about J.J. when he
sat behind Tim Donner for a year. I know y'all probably tired of me yapping about it.
However, we'll briefly cover what I thought of him in college and just how great he looked in the preseason.
And I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all too, bro. I was people will tell you, like some of my old supporters will tell you, I was a huge JJ McCarthy hater. Like real shit. I thought he was a handoff merchant. You know what I'm saying? I thought he just thrived from just handing the ball off to Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards. But when I actually just sat down and looked at the film, bro, he got some good arm talent, bro. I'm telling you right now, the way he zips the ball in there, you know what I'm saying, the different arm angles and shit like that, he can actually rip the ball, bro. I'm telling y'all right now.
Coming out of college,
so don't be surprised if he does pop off this
year. Like the system that Harbaugh ran with how dominant of a
And then
ground game
he's
they
never
had,
really
just how much
had
talent he had
elite
around him,
receivers at
kind of
Michigan
elevated
anyway. So
JJ McCarthy's
they were
game
always
a smidge.
run heavy.
However, once every single NFL team was like, this guy can be awesome, I sort of felt like, you know what, if every NFL team is saying this, maybe I'm just wrong. So obviously and clearly I was wrong because he was taken with the 10th overall pick, and I wasn't thinking he was a bad
I never
prospect.
thought
just
he was
kinda
going to be a
thought he was
first round
a
pick.
late first
You know what I'm
or
saying?
the
So I
second
looked
round
at
pick.
the
He
film
goes
and
10th
shit.
overall, and look, he only played one game, and it was a preseason game, probably up against a lot of backups, but man, he was good in that game. Like, just so solid. He stood in there, made some tight window throws. He looked poised, he looked confident in a different system that wasn't a Harbaugh system where it's a very heavy run attack, in a Kevin O'Connell system which likes to run the ball too. He just looked so comfortable.
Now, I ain't gonna
in
lie.
that attack,
I think
in a
this was his
Kevin
best
O'Connell
throw.
system which likes to run the ball.
This was best though, because it showed that he can make great throws under pressure, bro. Because look at this right here. This nigga is getting rocked.
Too.
And just delivers
He
a
so
perfect ball
comfortable
in
that
stride to
system.
Tristan
He was
Jackson.
making these super nice throws downfield. He had like 2 deep shot touchdowns that were beautiful, well timed, well thrown. He did unfortunately have an injury that made him miss the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Frankly,
He did
with
start
the
off rough
injury
in
or
that game
without
with a
the
pick,
injury,
but
with how well Sam
made
Darnold
up for
played. JJ probably wasn't going to play at all. Maybe late in the season when Sam kind of struggled, but more than likely not. But now we enter into the 2025 season. Darnold is now a Seattle Seahawk, and the Vikings have only brought in Sam Howell to compete with JJ McCarthy. So I do think there's a shot that Sam could start, but in all likelihood, JJ McCarthy will be the starting quarterback. He's obviously younger. I just think he's more talented. We've kind of seen the Sam Howell experiment, a lot of turnovers, but also a lot of flashy plays here and there. I do think JJ McCarthy will be the future quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. I thought within that very, very small sample size, he looked comfortable. He looked confident. This offseason so far, from everything that I have seen and heard, it's sounding pretty good. And he's in an offense with Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson, a great offensive line, a great defense. So it's a great situation for him to be in if he is just able to take those steps of getting better and better and better, getting more comfortable with the injury he had. Like, this is somebody who is young, he's still developing, he's super talented. He's going to end up being a great quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. So far, if you're tracking, we've had 5 quarterbacks taken with the top 10 picks, and I would say that at least 4 of those picks you feel really confident in, with one of them kind of pending that I'm also feeling pretty good about. But then we get to arguably the second best quarterback, at least in his rookie season, of the draft class, where the Denver Broncos kind of, I don't want to say surprisingly,
I was raving about
like
this
going to
nigga throughout
happen,
the
but
whole
kind of surprisingly
pre-draft
took Bo
process.
Nix. Now, I was not very high on Bo Nix.
Go,
And again,
go
you
check
can
out my old
scrutinize me all in the
videos.
comments.
I was one of the ones that was very high on Bo Nix, bro. Like, real shit. I said he was the most pro-ready quarterback in the NFL, and I thought he could be a superstar. And that's exactly what he's looking like right now.
You want.
You
I
know
felt
what I'm
like I
saying?
was kind of with the media on this one, where I kind of felt like he was best suited as like a late first, early second round pick. When he went 12th, though, especially to the team that he went to, I felt a lot better about the pick. Like, the Denver Broncos were such an ideal spot for Bo Nix. Like, it was
Brees
just
2.0,
a
bro.
marriage. Sean Payton and Bo
Payton
Nix
to
was
find
just
another one.
perfect. And this might be a bit of a hot take, but I think if the Broncos had like the 4th overall pick, I genuinely still believe their pick probably would have been Bo Nix. Like,
Yeah,
I
'cause
felt like
Sean
the
Payton
Broncos just
sees
fell
a
in
lot
love
of
with
Drew
Bo
Brees
Nix
in him.
and how perfect he
And I
fit
don't
in
blame
the
him.
system and
The
with
accuracy,
that situation.
you know what I'm
like,
saying?
even if JJ was there, or
Now,
even
he
if
is
Penix
more
was there,
athletic
I kind of
than-
still feel like the
than
Broncos
Drew Brees.
may have very well ended
Like,
up
more-
with Bo
more
Nix
mobile,
at that
but-
4th overall pick. Now, if they had the 3rd or 2nd, they're probably taking Daniels or May, but still, I think they would have taken Bo Nix in most situations all the way up to like the 4th overall pick. Now, Bo Nix was an older prospect. He came into last year around 24, 25 years old, and I thought he looked his age. He looked mature. He looked ready to go from like the get-go. He didn't really struggle too much on the year. 3,700 passing yards, 29 touchdowns, 12 picks. Led the Denver Broncos to a playoff spot. Of course, we all know what happened. They went up against a juggernaut in the Buffalo
Built
Bills,
to
and
ass.
Bo Nix wasn't quite yet ready for that, nor were the Denver Broncos at all. But this offseason,
they were
added
young,
so much to their
inexperienced
defense to
teams,
where
so.
now Denver has, in my opinion, the best defense in the NFL. And Bo Nix had an awesome rookie season with a very, I don't want to say
Nigga had
mediocre,
30,
but not
bro.
so great surrounding cast
How
rookie
many?
season.
33 total touchdowns, gang.
I don't want
As
to say
a
mediocre,
rookie.
but not so great
Crazy.
surrounding cast around him. Yes, they have a fantastic offensive line, but outside of Cortland Sutton, they don't really have too much in the receiving core.
That's why I
You
thought they were
bring in
going
RJ
receiver
Harvey,
first
You
round.
bring in an Evan Ingram. You have, of course, Cortland Sutton again. You have all these receivers who are developing. And I kind of look at the situation for Denver now and say it's clearly better than what it was last year, but just in general, if we expect Bo Nix to take a step forward, like this is going to be an awesome team next year. Bo Nix had a fantastic rookie season. There was at certain points arguments for him to potentially compete for offensive rookie of the year. And again, this is somebody who was the 6th quarterback taken in the first round. So if you're tracking of the 6 quarterbacks, if we exclude JJ McCarthy, who didn't play in his rookie season, 5 of them look like they're going to be franchise quarterbacks for the foreseeable future. And a lot of them look like they'll be Pro Bowl, all pro caliber guys. And JJ McCarthy, who I think still is ultra talented, could very well end up being a part of those 6 quarterbacks where he could be the franchise guy who has Pro Bowl potential. Now, after those 6 quarterbacks went off the board, there's really only 2 quarterbacks to seriously note that went after them, and that's Spencer Rattler and Joe Milton. For Spencer Rattler, he did get...
Hey, I'm going to say this right now. Well, Rattler, we not going to talk about that nigga. But Joe Milton, we going to talk about him for a second. Now, I think, you know, a lot of people probably know by now. People probably forgot about the news. But him getting traded to Dallas... I ain't gonna lie, that was low-key shocking, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like, you know, him learning behind Dak and stuff like that, I feel like he could definitely learn a lot. You know, we know how good Dak is, and a lot of people like to shit on him because he's a Dallas Cowboy. But let's keep it about Dallas is a good regular season quarterback, you know what I'm saying? Just like Lamar is. I'll you know what I'm saying? I know niggas probably gonna be saying that in the comments because I'm a Ravens fan, but he is a good regular season quarterback. You know what I'm saying? But he's still talented at the end of the day. But I think Joe Milton learning behind him, he can learn a lot. Because Joe Milton, I feel like, can be a franchise guy. He's got a rocket of an arm, just like AR. You know what I'm saying? He's athletic. He's fast. You know what I'm saying? But the same problems AR got, he has as well. When he struggles with accuracy, you know what I'm saying, consistently. But he has a strong arm, bro. He has a strong arm. So I think in the next couple years, bro, I don't know, because they just paid Dak, so I think Dak's going to stick around for a while. But he might end up being the franchise quarterback for Dallas of the future. You know what I'm saying? They might have poached another one from Tony Romo to Dak Prescott to Joe Milton, and maybe he'll ball out. Who knows, bro? But they might be having something nice going on there, bro, in the future. I'm not
some
gonna
playing
lie.
time, but definitely didn't look particularly
They got to pay their guys though
yards,
on time.
4 touchdowns, 5
I'm
picks.
talking to you, Jerry
Kind of was an
Jones.
unfair situation.
Nigga too busy measuring
developmental
niggas'
piece.
dicks and
the
shit
team
in the
around
locker
him was
room.
really struggling with
Fuck wrong
injuries,
with
and
him, bro.
I thought he did enough, but also made a lot of mistakes too. In terms of what his future outlook is, right now he's in a quarterback competition with Tyler Shock. I do think, regardless of how that goes, I think Shock will be the starting quarterback, and I think Rattler should be an awesome backup quarterback for the foreseeable future. And then there's Joe starting quarterback, and I think Rattler should be an awesome backup quarterback for the foreseeable
When the fuck he make that
future.
throw?
And then there's Joe Milton. I kind of think that he, of a lot of these quarterbacks taken in the back end of this year's draft, I kind of feel like he has a shot to genuinely become something. He was uber talented coming out of Tennessee, but very just kind of flawed with his game. He didn't really see the field particularly good. He had some boneheaded decisions, but we all knew like he has the look, the stature, the athleticism, and he has a rocket connected to his arm that he can make any throw out there on the field. But now he sits there in a really nice situation where I didn't really love his spot with New England because he was developing behind a rookie quarterback who was also developing. Now he can enter into a situation where there's really no pressure on him. He just has to develop behind what I think is an awesome quarterback in Dak Prescott. I also think the situation around Joe Milton is really good too, with Pickens, CD, Ferg, solid offensive line that's super young. With Dak being now in his 30s, and I think maybe has 4 to 5 really good years left in him, Joe Milton can develop behind him for 2, 3, 4 years. If Dallas does not feel like they want to renew the contract of Dak Prescott after his contract's up, maybe they give the job to Joe Milton. I don't think that'll happen. I think more than likely they'll play it out with Dak for the foreseeable future. But Dak has been injury prone lately, and I could see a situation kind of like Tony Romo.
And what's
Dak
crazy
Prescott,
is,
where
bro, Dak started off his career like being totally healthy. Like he had like over 100, you know, I think it was like over 100 snaps or something. It was some crazy stat where he, you know what I'm saying, he never missed a start. But then I think after that Giants game where he broke his ankle, I feel like he's been very injury prone since
Dak
that.
goes out there, maybe has a season-ending injury. Not hoping for it. Knock on wood, of course. I'm a Cowboys fan, for God's sake. But maybe something like that does happen. Joe Milton steps in there and plays pretty darn well. Might earn himself a job maybe with the Cowboys or somewhere else.
A lot of my family
Again,
Cowboys
I think he is
fans.
uber talented, and I think if he can just develop a lot of the little nuances to his game, like he is somebody that can develop to be a really special talent. But again, we'll have to wait and see. But just in general, the 2020 2024 NFL quarterback draft class is looking to be potentially historic. So many guys
Facts.
have all-pro, Pro Bowl potential, and they are going to become the franchise quarterback for their team. And this is all in just one draft class. So you guys let me know in the comment section below, of these 6 quarterbacks, which one do you think will be the most successful for their whole career? Let me know down below. And if you enjoyed, hit the like and subscribe button. Love you guys. Peace.
That's tough. I'm not like, you gotta also look not just at the quarterback's talent, but also the positioning, you know what I'm saying, the head coach, the system, the organization in general. That you gotta look into all of that when talking about, you know what I'm saying, who's gonna have a better career throughout the whole quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Because based off talent, you will go Jaden Daniels. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm being totally honest with y'all, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna go Bo Nix. But the reason I'm going with the Broncos though, because Sean Payton, you know what I'm saying, you see what he did with Drew Brees. They won a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? The Broncos have built up a great organization these last couple years. And Bo Nix, bro, I feel like, you know, all those starts at Auburn and Oregon, you know what I'm saying, him getting better and better each year, I feel like has really helped him out a lot in his progression and his development at becoming, you know what I'm saying, the quarterback that he is today. So I feel like he might have the better career out of all of them. Now they do gotta help him out with getting some more weapons, because Courtland Sutton, he's getting up there in age. I think Marvin Mims is gonna be a great option for the future. Troy Franklin, hopefully he can become something for them. You know what I'm saying? Pat Bryant, they drafted. Vele, I feel like solid. But I feel like they need another weapon, in my opinion, boy. But you know what I'm saying, I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Damn, 31 minutes. God damn, I was yapping my ass off. But hey, man, shit, I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Y'all let me know what other NFL videos I'm to react to. Without further ado, I'm out. Yeah.
I'ma make them feel me, make them people with they child me. And if you don't know me, I'ma make sure that you know me. I hate to say it, but I really think I'm broke. But I know I'm chosen, I really know I'm chosen. I know I'm chosen. I was just lost a year ago, but now I'm focused. When good at sports, this microphone can be my trophy. Not taking drugs, I found a better way of coping.